What is it about this group that has caused it to carve such a niche for itself in the music scene of this country?
You know, I think about that occasionally. I try not to think about it too much, but I don't know. I think it's the songs. I think it just boils down to the material.
It's that simple?
I really think it is, yeah. I think the songs last, and they speak for themselves, and they have a life of their own.
The Eagles are the best-selling American band of all time. They've sold over 150 million albums, won 6 Grammys, had 5 number-1 singles, 17 top 40s, and 6 number-1 albums. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1998. Much of their success is attributed to drummer and lead singer Don Henley. He was ranked as the 87th greatest singer of all time by Rolling Stone. He's also responsible for writing many of the band's best songs, inspired by a turbulent love life full of heartbreak. Keep watching as Don Henley reveals the love of his life. A brief look at Don's career. Don Henley was born in Linden, Texas on July 22, 1947. He went to Linden Kildare High School, where he tried playing football. His coach suggested he join the school band instead. John played the trombone and then moved to percussion. He joined a band with his childhood friend Richard Bowden's father, Elmer, and his other friend, Jerry Surratt. It changed band members and the names until it was called Felicity. They met Kenny Rogers by chance in 1969. Kenny took an interest in them. They changed their name to Shiloh and recorded a few songs for him. The band was then made up of Don, Richard, and Michael Bowden, Al Perkins, and Jim Ed Norman. They were signed to Amos Records and went to Los Angeles in 1970. Shiloh recorded a self-titled album before disbanding in 1971 over creative differences. Don then met Glenn Frey. John Boylan put them on Linda Ronstadt's backup band in 1971. The two eventually decided to form their own band, along with Randy Meisner and Bernie Ledden. That's how the Eagles began. They joined Asylum Records and released their first studio album in 1972. Don wrote or co-wrote most of their biggest hits, including Take It Easy, Witchy Woman, and Desperado. He also sang lead vocals on many of them, including the ever-popular Hotel California. The Eagles found early and massive success. They're one of the top 5 best-selling bands of all time and the highest-selling American band of all time. He went a while before releasing another solo album. He was hesitant to start, saying,
I liked being in a band. I like being in bands. I like people to bounce things off of. I like people to share in the decisions. I don't like everything on my shoulders. But I was totally unprepared to become a solo artist.
That lasted until he released Inside Job in 2000, which peaked at number 7. He also did duets with other hitmakers and opened 10 of Stevie Nicks' concerts on her Two Voices tour in 2005. Don was asked about the future of the Eagles in a 2007 interview with CNN. He said he had plans for more records. He also said the members also had their solo careers, and he had more solo albums to put out himself. They continue to tour despite their own careers. Let's talk a little bit about Don's tangled love life. Lorelei Sheist. Don became romantically involved with Lorelei in 1974. They met at a music management company, and they began dating and moved in together in Malibu. It eventually came out that Lori might not be as trustworthy as she seemed. She had followed a rocker boyfriend on a whim. She then began lying her way into jobs until she got to the music management one where she met Don. It's unclear why their relationship ended, but it was reportedly a nasty breakup. That doesn't mean nothing came of it. She was reportedly the inspiration for the Eagles song Wasted Time and parts of Hotel California. Lori also made out well for herself, partially thanks to the celebrity her connection to Don gave her. She became one of the biggest jewelry designers in the world. She also became friends with big names like Salvador Dali, Cher, and Elton John. Stevie Nicks. Dawn began dating Stevie after her relationship with Lindsey Buckingham started to end. They had an on and off, complicated courtship for around 2 years. She reportedly said, "Don always treated me very special. He always kinda treated me like we were married." Rumors flew that she wrote the song Sarah about their unborn child. She admitted that she did decide to get an abortion, but reportedly told Billboard, "Had I married Dawn and had that baby, and had she been a girl, I would have named her Sarah." However, she denies that it was Don's baby, saying he only wishes it was about him. Stevie said the song also isn't about Mick Fleetwood's ex-wife. She simply loved the name Sarah. It's also inspired by her relationship with Mick and the one after. Don also used songwriting to handle his emotions about the relationship. The difference was that he started even earlier. Life in the Fast Lane is reportedly inspired by Stevie's relationship with Lindsey Buckingham. It's a tale of a couple who had everything but lost it because of their fast, hard partying lifestyle. Don has never confirmed this inspiration, but it's not a stretch. He did say that the song put the dangers of that kind of lifestyle at the forefront. In his own words, "I think it was healthy, though, that we realized that running around and parties and fast cars are really not the answer. It's kind of a shallow way to approach why we're on this planet, and it probably came as a band consciousness." Lois, Chiles, and Maren Jensen. Don had a 3-year relationship with actress, model, and Bond girl Lois Chiles. Nothing notable came of it. He was engaged to Hawaiian Battlestar Galactic actress Maren Jensen in the 1980s. He dedicated his first solo album, I Can't Stand Still, to her. She also sang harmony with him on the song, Johnny Can't Read. She appeared in the video for 1985's Not Enough Love in the World. Despite the promising start, they separated in 1986. They split on positive terms, and she helped him form his nonprofit Walden Woods Project. After 42 years of contemplation, the heartbreak also inspired Don to co-write The Heart of the Matter. Finding true love. Don eventually met Sharon Summerall. She grew up on a farm in Dallas just like him. That gave them something in common to bond over. She started modeling in school, which turned into a career when she was signed to the Ford's Models Agency. She had to stop temporarily after a neck injury from a car crash in December 1982. 2 years later, she was back at it. Don and Sharon met through music agent Angus Wayne. They hit it off and started dating. They married 2 years later in 1995. The wedding was a major affair, with several other big music names showing up, including Bruce Springsteen, Sting, Billy Joel, John Fogerty, Jackson Browne, Sheryl Crow, Glenn Frey, and Tony Bennett. Don wrote the song Everything Is Different Now for Sharon. It's a tender ballad describing how she's affected him. His married life even inspired an entire album. He released Inside Job in 2000, his first studio album since 1989. Something certainly is different this time, the fact that Don went through on an engagement. He said, quote, "I think I would have been a failure if I had done it earlier, and I've always believed that the lives of children are too important to be a part of an immature experiment." Don and Sharon haven't proven to be a failure. They're still married and have 3 children, 2 daughters and a son, Annabelle, Julia, and Will. He jokingly said,
"And I wrote a song called Annabelle about my firstborn. So now my other 2 teenagers are saying, 'Daddy, where's my song?'"
Don didn't only have trouble settling with one woman at first. He had trouble settling in one place. He said in an early interview,
I consider this whole country my home. That's the wonderful thing about being in the business I'm in. I've traveled around for the past 25 years now, and I pretty much know every city like the back of my hand.
That changed when he started a family. They moved from LA to Dallas when their children were young to give them a childhood outside of Hollywood. Don said, "I wanted my children to have an upbringing similar to my own. I don't want to raise my children out there in an environment of such self-absorption. Not that it can't be done, but it is too difficult, especially as I am not around all the time." They even live close to Sharon's parents. They're very involved in their grandchildren's upbringing. Don says that makes their lives easier and reminds him of how much he loved his grandparents growing up. Don supports Sharon through her diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. It also stopped her modeling career. The painful immune condition causes lesions in the back and spine. Don tries to be hopeful about her future. He says, quote, "We're fortunate in that she has the relapsing, remitting form of MS, not the kind where you go straight downhill. So she's holding her own. We feel hopeful about the future. She can still drive and get around. She's not getting better, but she's not getting worse." Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Eagles song? Let us know in the comments section below.